from police. Plus, tie-ups on the interstate stretching through multiple cities. The dangerous maneuvers some people use to get out of this mess and why first responders are concerned.
And I'm tracking a cold front pushing through our area this afternoon, bringing strong winds and a few other changes to the forecast. We'll time it all out coming up.
You're watching Eyewitness News at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Allison Lottis, and we are following breaking news out of Burke County where an intense search is underway for 3 men who held up a Morganton convenience store. We have Chopper 9 flying live over this wooded area right now where officers are focusing their efforts. We can see a very large police response, and as our photographer up in Chopper 9 was zoomed in, I noticed that many of these law enforcement officers have weapons in hands, and this appears to be in the area of a home. I see a swimming pool there. A very active scene as they search for these suspects. Now, it's been chaotic all morning long there in Burke County after those men reportedly stole multiple trucks, crashed one of them, and then ran through people's yards. Our Dave Faraday was the first reporter on that scene following the crash and is now following the search focused on those woods. Dave?
Allison, the most recent sighting was about 45 minutes ago. You mentioned that home that you can see from Chopper 9. There are patrol cars up and down the driveway. We saw deputies, Highway Patrol, U.S. Marshals running down that driveway with their guns drawn after a man was seen running across the road here. All this unfolding on Mineral Springs Mountain, which is very rugged south of the Valdez area. Take a look at some of this video that we shot earlier. You can see where the suspects crashed the stolen red pickup truck on Mineral Springs Mountain Avenue going through a fence. Public safety officers say they robbed the Speedway on South Sterling around 5 a.m. There are some surveillance photos you're about to see from that robbery. Public safety officers say the men were armed. Officers got on the scene very quickly, and minutes later, another officer spotted the getaway vehicle along Interstate 40. The chase ended south of Valdez, where the Highway Patrol, Burke County Sheriff deputies, U.S. Marshals are trying to locate 2 suspects in the woods right now. They are flying several drones across the mountainside, hoping to spot them. We spoke with some neighbors earlier who are glad there are so many police here.
It's kind of an alarming wake-up call. We heard sirens and just a lot of sirens, and we thought, we thought there was an emergency next door, and looked out our bedroom window and saw that red pickup truck that was the door open.
And public safety officers over in Morganton are telling us that there was a 3rd suspect at that robbery early this morning. He took off in a different direction. We're learning right now that he possibly got into a truck belonging to the Morganton Water Department. I'm being told it is a white 2000 GMC that would have Morganton Water Department on the side. That truck so far has not been found. 3 suspects on the run this midday. Back to you, Allison.
All right, Dave, thank you for that. A very urgent search will continue to follow. We appreciate your live reporting. Well, we may have some quick showers this afternoon, but the bigger concern, strong wind gusts that will be coming through. Meteorologist Jacqueline Sheeran, Severe Weather Center 9, to pinpoint what we can expect, but also explain why those winds could be so dangerous.
Yeah, and this is all because of a cold front that's pushing into our area this afternoon. And from our national satellite and radar network, we've actually been able to get a pretty good visual on right about where this front is. So it's been pushing towards us just a little bit closer here over the past few hours, moving slowly, bringing showers with it, and also bringing some of those strong winds like we mentioned. So for today, we're talking about sustained winds in the 10 to 15 mile per hour range, with gusts up to 25 miles an hour in the metro, up to 30 in the high country. And of course, with our grounds being so very saturated from all of the rain that we've seen over the past few days, these winds will be especially concerning. So if you have any trees that are a little bit questionable out there in your backyard, you'll want to keep a close eye on those. Fortunately, after today, though, our weather is calm all the way until Sunday. We're going to take a look at the start of your weekend and when things start to change for us coming up in just a few minutes. Allison?
Search efforts for a teenager missing on the South Fork River in Gaston County are growing increasingly difficult. Teams have relentlessly been searching for Ethan Britt since Tuesday. He was swimming with a friend in the river Monday near Spencer Mountain when he disappeared. Today, crews will use drones in their search. They say it's too dangerous to put divers in the water. Yesterday, we spoke to a man who spotted the teen's friend stranded along the water.
I did ask the guy if he was by himself, and he said no. I asked him if there was another person. Yes. Where is he? And he pointed to the water.
Ward is now praying for a miracle in the search for that 14-year-old. Chilling surveillance video which captured the sounds and the chaos from a deadly shooting in Uptown is now being reviewed by police today. 4 people were shot yesterday morning. One of them, 24-year-old Calvin Haynes, died at the scene. We spoke to the aunt of another victim, 19-year-old Masanka Kanku. She told us he was at the Post Uptown Place apartments for a graduation party when the shooting started. She says he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He's in university with full scholarship. He don't drink, he don't smoke, he don't hang out with bad friend.
Police still have not identified any suspects, but we're told at least one person has been interviewed. They also say the party that led to the deadly shooting started after someone rented an apartment there through Airbnb. CMPD officers had already put out warnings about illegal parties at rental properties. They told us they still want to talk to the person who threw that party. It couldn't have happened at a worse time. This morning, at the very peak of rush hour traffic, troopers in Rowan County were forced to shut down the southbound lanes of I-85 to respond to a crash. And this was the result. The backup stretched for more than 10 miles. Reporter Deshaun Brown is live along I-85. And Deshaun, this closure caused such a mess that even first responders couldn't get through.
Allison, fortunately, it is clear right now, but there were so many issues out here this morning. We are going to zoom in a little closer to the interstate so that you can see this. And if you look closely, there's really not a shoulder for anyone to get around in the event of an emergency, including first responders. Now, here's what it looks like earlier this morning during rush hour. And look at this. Not a single car could move. Even medic got stuck in this. We also noticed another truck trying to turn around into oncoming traffic, which is extremely dangerous. And this went on for nearly an hour this morning for almost 6 miles along I-85. That's heading out of Salisbury into China Grove and in the Kannapolis area. Another shot that we wanted to show you, there was someone that we captured trying to turn their car around, or rather people getting out of their cars onto the interstate to see what was going on. So right now I am asking Highway Patrol and first responders what can be done in areas just like this where it is so tight and there's not a shoulder in the case of an emergency. I also want to point you to, we'll take a look at another potential risk that could be an issue that could prevent any sort of fix here from actually happening. I'll send it back to you, Allison.
All right, Deshaun, thanks. In the last 10 minutes, a jury started deliberating in the trial against a teen accused of murdering a college baseball player. 17-year-old Josiah Wilson is accused of setting up a robbery and luring Zach Finch to the Arbor Glen Apartments in West Charlotte 2 years ago. Earlier this week, tape recordings were played in court of his interview with police. The defense claims Josiah did not fire that deadly shot. A teenage girl remains in police custody this afternoon after she was named as the suspect in a man's brutal stabbing attack. Donald McKinney was stabbed multiple times in the chest yesterday. The attack happened inside of his home on Wood Road. His wife found him barricaded inside their bathroom and called 911.
I screamed, no, don't let this happen. No, that's my husband. I love him.
McKinney was airlifted to the hospital after a brief search. Police found the teen girl in a field close to the house. While she was being taken into custody, she told reporter Dave Faraday that she has multiple personalities. The State Sheriff's Association is changing course and supporting a bill that would force law enforcement across North Carolina to cooperate with federal immigration officers. House Bill 370 would require police and deputies to determine if a suspect is a legal resident when they are charged. Some say it will leave all undocumented immigrants in fear.
Especially for victims of hate crimes and domestic violence, that they cannot call the police, do not trust the police because they see the police as an extension of immigration enforcement.
If the bill is passed, a sheriff could lose his or her seat if they do not comply. Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden ended the 287G program as soon as he took office. It allows deputies to run an inmate's name through immigration databases. Yesterday, Sheriff McFadden called the bill, quote, a dangerous experiment. He also said it takes the power away from every sheriff to set their own policies. Yesterday, President Trump's campaign manager called Sheriff McFadden disgraceful for his refusal to work with ICE. The tweet was about the case of this man, Luis Pineda-Ancheta. Investigators say that he assaulted his girlfriend, bonded out of jail, and then got into a 9-hour standoff with CMPD officers. Pineda-Ancheta then bonded out again. ICE agents say that he's here illegally, and they should have been told through the 287G program before he was released. A man suspected of robbing a Gaston County bank has been arrested hours after the alleged crime. Police charged Monty Lee House Jr. last night. He was identified as the person who robbed the Wells Fargo Bank at Marietta Street and Franklin Boulevard late Tuesday night. Police haven't said if House got away with any money or if anyone was hurt. You may smell a slight odor of gas if you live in the Huntersville area today, but Piedmont Natural Gas wants you to know there's nothing to worry about. Workers are inspecting their facility near McCoy and Hambright Road today. Part of that inspection means they'll need something called flaring, which helps them push excess gas out of pipes. If you're nearby, you may even see a large flame that looks something like this, but again, nothing to worry about. Inspections like this will continue through early next week. A mom banned from her child's school after dealing with a bullying case herself.
Mom shouldn't have done that, but I was upset.
What happened when she went to the school herself and the important message she now has for her son.
Weather on WSOC is driven by Toyota of North Charlotte, I-77 exit 23, where big city low prices are just a click away.
This South Carolina mom decided that her son's school wasn't doing enough to keep her son from being bullied, so she took matters into her own hands.
He got hit, kicked, hit with a computer. He was shoved.
Jamie Rathburn says her son's elementary school near Greenville ignored his calls for help, so she went there and confronted 2 students last month. Deputies arrested Rathburn after they say she yelled at kids in a threatening manner and cursed at a teacher. Now she says she hopes that her son can learn from her mistakes.
I told him, you know, what I did wasn't okay. It wasn't. It was not okay. Mom shouldn't have done that. But I was upset. And you see what happened when I allowed my emotions to control my behavior? I did something stupid and it got me arrested.
The school district has banned Rathburn from school property. Special agents are using a Charlotte woman as an example of what can happen to you if you commit insurance fraud. The state insurance commissioner's office announced the arrest of Deetra Wallace yesterday. They say she claimed items were stolen from her home back in January, but sent photos taken of those items that were dated after the reported theft. She's now facing a felony charge. Commissioner Mike Causey said that fraud like this is felt by people every time they pay their insurance premiums. His office has doubled the number of special agents to investigate claims as they crack down on crimes just like that. Today is the last day of minicamp for the Carolina Panthers, and Cam Newton is working on getting back in the swing of things. Coaches have been trying to improve Cam's mechanics for months. Those changes have been subtle, like improving his footwork and making every movement more efficient.
Just committing yourself to it, and it's not that different. It's really not that different. You're still throwing the ball. The work from now until the season is what's going to build that muscle memory.
This is the Panthers' last day together until the training camp. That will start late next month at Wofford College in Spartanburg. It's scheduled to be the Panthers' final training camp in that location. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors have to win it to stay in it tonight when they take on the Toronto Raptors in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The Warriors are looking for a win without Kevin Durant. A ruptured Achilles ended his season this week. Curry and teammate Klay Thompson were instrumental in Game 5, retaking the lead. Steph says there are 4 key areas the team needs to focus on.
To protect our home court, feed off our crowd's energy, play for K, and try to keep our season alive. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can kind of tap into for energy. We'll be ready.
The Raptors lead the series 3-2. Game 6 tips off at 9 o'clock right here on Channel 9. Stay tuned after the game for Eyewitness News at 11. Meteorologist Jacqueline Shear in Severe Weather Center 9. Warmer temps we can expect today.
Yeah, you know, it is starting to look pretty nice out there. Taking a look at our Charlotte sky cam, and we still have some thick cloud cover over some areas, but we are starting to see a little bit of that blue sky peek out. Those temperatures starting to climb. We are at 73 degrees already. That breeze, though, that's the problem, and that'll be the problem as we're pushing through the afternoon. So here's a look at wind speeds all throughout our area. We'll stay in about that 10 to 15 mile per hour range as far as sustained winds are concerned, but the gusts throughout our region will be up to 25 miles per hour in the metro area and up to 30 miles an hour in the high country. And like we were talking about earlier, that's a big deal because it could mean we are seeing some tree issues thanks to those saturated soils after all of that rain over the past few days. And unfortunately, as this cold front comes through, it keeps us in this windy environment for quite some time. As we're going through into the afternoon, we start to see them peak right around 3 p.m. and then they stay pretty high until we get into the evening. Take a look at some of these sustained wind speeds. 22 miles an hour in Boone, 20 in Jefferson, even in Gastonia we're at 15, Monroe 16 miles an hour. So that's a pretty decent breeze as we're going through this afternoon, something you want to be very mindful of. Fortunately, as we get into the evening, they will calm down and they'll stay calm through much of the weekend. Here's a look at 7-day temperatures. This cold front really won't drop our temperatures much. Yesterday we were in the low 70s. We've already passed that temperature today, and we are well on our way to the upper 70s for today and tomorrow. By Saturday, back in the 80s, and then by Sunday, we're above average in the 90s. This is also, though, when that humidity will work its way back into the picture, and also some chances for thunderstorms. Here's a look at that 7-day rain chance. That's just an afternoon thunderstorm there on Father's Day, so so shouldn't impact any plans to grill out or anything like that. But by Monday, we're talking about some steadier downpours to start off the week. So you definitely want to take advantage of what we have coming now rain-wise, which is a few showers this afternoon, and then they clear, those clouds clear as well. And then for today, tomorrow, and into Saturday, we are looking at clear skies for the most part. Get outside and enjoy it. It is a well-deserved but also a well-needed break from the rain. So you definitely want to make sure that any recovery you need to do after those flooding rains in some areas, make sure you take this time to do it, because again, by Monday, we could be seeing some more downpours enter our region. So we could be seeing those issues all over again.
Here's the heads up now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jacqueline. An attack by sea, the chaos that erupted after 2 oil tankers were ambushed overnight, and why it could hurt us here at home. Next to This afternoon, oil prices are surging after 2 tankers were attacked overseas. The attack happened in the Gulf of Oman earlier today. The tankers were carrying oil to the Middle East when some sort of explosion occurred. Sailors on both ships had to evacuate. We do know one ship was flying the flag of Panama, the other flying a Marshall Islands flag. This is just the latest attack on oil carriers in the region, but here's how it's going to impact us at home. The benchmark price for Brent crude oil jumped this morning by 4% to more than $62 a barrel. Earlier this week, experts predicted we'll see a huge drop in gas prices this summer, but certainly they'll be closely watching these developments. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
starting to feel a little more of those summertime temperatures come our way.
Yeah, yesterday was just so cool and gloomy and rainy, and today we're at least getting a sense that it's going to be different. We're in the low 70s right now. We'll make it to the upper 70s by this afternoon. There's a slight shower chance, but just a few drizzles, a few showers here and there, and I think a lot of people will actually stay dry during that. Then those clouds will clear. We'll see a lot of sunshine over the next few days here, and by Saturday we're back in the mid-80s with a lot of sunshine, so a really great start to the weekend. And you know what, even Sunday, even though we have that rain chance in, it's not so bad. The thing is that for the next few days we're not seeing a lot of humidity, and then by Sunday that builds back in, so we start to see those summer thunderstorms as well.
Okay, so enjoy the decrease in that stickiness for now.
Right, exactly.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Thanks for joining us for Channel 9 Eyewitness News at midday. We'll be back here at 5. Have a great afternoon.
WSOC-TV is a Cox Media Group station.